Eloro Resources Limited, which trades on the OTCQX under the symbol ELRRF and on the TSX under the symbol ELO. And it's an exploration and mine development company with a portfolio of gold and base metal properties in Bolivia, Peru, and Quebec. Please welcome its CEO and chairman, Thomas Larsen. Welcome, Thomas. We look forward to hearing your update.
Great. Thanks, Anna. Thanks for having me. Would you like me to just start in?
Yes, absolutely.
So, first of all, thank you for everyone attending. I've only got a 10-minute slot, so I'm going to have to be really, really quick. The first interview we did on the emerging growth was more a video because I wanted to just present and show just the background, just visually, and some of the interviews with very important people that are helping with this journey for eventual commercialization of Iska and the benefits in the surrounding area that Mr. Villegas, the present owner of the property and highly regarded in the district of the Tupiza area, very clearly made that point, along with our director and lawyer, PPO partner, Pablo Ardani, and of course, Dr. Osvaldo Arce. Where we are right now is we are concluding with infill, the 5,000 meter infill drilling campaign to basically enhance and dispel those people that felt that there was a lot of waste and low grade to this system. We have been labeled in that regard, which couldn't be further from the truth. And it's just simply a fact that we have to prove so people understand. And I think we're on that track. We've come out with completed almost 5,000 meters of drilling since our last minor financing back in November. 2 press releases came out explaining the grades, especially the silver, higher grade silver, and the tin, which is actually in what they call cassiterite, rather than what we deem as wood tin, which is much harder to separate and wasn't in the MRE a year and a half ago. We didn't include that on a valuation basis. We certainly will be including the tin to our PEA 12 to 15-year mine life that'll be out later in the year of 2025. But tin will be, I think, a 20-25% value add to the tonnage per ton value. The cassiterite is so important. The cutoff we're using is around 0.25. We're getting 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, which is 8.10 pounds per ton, $15 US per ton. Tin is somewhat recoveries can be low. We're discounting it to 50%. However, we believe with metallurgical testing in the tin cassiterite that is being taken care of over the next 2 months in Cornwall, England, by Wardell, under the lab Wardell Armstrong, under the supervision of Mr. Michael Hollywell, our tin metallurgist, that will show the much better, probably 60-70% recoveries. That's the last part of metallurgical work that's needed for the PEA. The drilling is going really well. It's filling in those gaps to the west of the Santa Barbara open pit. In fact, we're so impressed with the drill results, and you'll see more coming this month to conclude with that 5,000 meters, that we're going to move forward with another 5,000 meters, just zeroing in on these enriched silver values to the west of the Santa Barbara and to the tin cassiterite, which will, with that extra 5,000 meters, I'm hoping we see a much higher tonnage in the PEA, similar to what San Cristobal did from the standpoint of making a production decision. They were over 200 million tons when they made that decision to go forward back in 2006. So that's sort of our barometer, our comparative that we're working towards. We signed an NDA with San Cristobal, privately owned, so we know their operating inputs, which are very helpful for the PEA. One other point, just quickly here, because of the lag when it comes to these sort of exploration development companies, especially in this type of market, that's, it's been a lot of headwinds over the last year and a half, just generally speaking. unlike, 2-3 years ago. We felt that, just drilling and proving up more and more tonnage, that's one thing. But in this market, what could we do to really enhance and really move this project forward in a short-term fashion? And basically, we started 6-8 months ago working on a pilot plant with ramping at the Santa Barbara into the higher grade areas. 1 million tons roughly would be used over a 5-year mine life. There'll be over 200 million tons in the PEA, so it's certainly not going to be a sterilization process. And to move forward with a mobile modular pilot plant processing, small crushing, one XRT ore sorter at pre-con level into the processing of this plant. We're hoping 18 months from now. We are closing in on a scoping study being sponsored third party. So we're really, really excited about where we could be going and showing the market that even with 500 ton a day and potentially under, $50, $40 per ton operating costs, if that's in fact the case, that we could very well be onto a cash flowing mode, not big cash flow, but cash flowing mode where dilution is less. And most importantly, it shows the Bolivian government that we're in business. And this is basically just the start of the much bigger picture. So that is really how I'll leave it right now. But that's exactly the news flow that you should expect to see over the coming months in regard to the topic of the 500 ton a day pilot plant. I think I'll leave it at that. I've got 4 minutes there for questions. I'm sure there'll be a few.
All right, Thomas, thank you so much. Yes, George asks about your infrastructure. What does it look like and what is needed on that front?
So if I go to the infrastructure slide, there it is. So basically we have road access, we have rail access, we have hydro, we have water, we have a town 30 kilometers away called Tupiza, high up in the flat-lying Altiplano area. No historical major artisanal mining co-ops, issues that have plagued many projects in South America. This is a privately owned property, so access to it has been, it really works in our favor, especially there'll be very limited funds needed to add to the infrastructure component for a proper PFS. But no, we're next door. We're 25 clicks away from rail and road access right up to the front of this major volcanic new discovery. And remember, this is a brand new discovery, $50 million spent to come up with 120,000 meters of drilling. And what that came up with initially was close to 300 million ounces of silver, big endowment of both zinc and lead, underexplored portion of tin. But that worked out to close to 1.15 ounces of silver equivalent. So there's no denying that this is a massive system. It's so big, though, that we have to zero in on things like this pilot plan at this stage.
And last question from Chris. Talk a little bit about your capitalization concerning what's needed over the next 12 months.
Okay, well, first of all, if I go back quickly to the slide, here we are. The capital structure, we're 84.5 million outstanding, 102 million fully diluted. There's the breakdown: management 22%, implied retail 50, a lot of legacy shareholders from my former company Champion that became rather successful in the iron ore space. 3% Cartier Silver, a junior company closely associated with Eloro, just 18 kilometers away on the Ganelbert property, and also institution. Crescat owns 16%. This is one of the great things about the pilot plant. It'll be primarily Bolivian financed via debt, but debt on the pilot plant, not encumbering the property. This is what we've been working on. There was a similar type of financing done in Bolivianos, paid back in US dollars. Bolivia, like many countries, need US dollars. And that's 70-80%. on the debt side for roughly a $20-25 million spend on this pilot plant. Another $5 to $8 million to complete the PEA and try and get an NAV into that 5-10 billion plus number. So we will obviously do a bit more financing, but this is one of the great things of Eloro, the share cap for what we've done, the amount of shares outstanding. I compare this to a lot of other silver companies without naming them, and you'll see more like 200, 300, 400 million shares out. So we have the room but I've always been very, very conscientious, obviously, being the largest single shareholder, of keeping the share float tight, keeping the share count tight.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Thomas, for this thorough update. We look forward to seeing you again soon. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Anna.
All right, everyone, we'll be right back.